Imagine a United States untouched by the shadow of Prohibition, the grand experiment of the 20th century that sought to cleanse America of alcohol's perceived sins, but instead steeped it in a cocktail of unintended consequences. Prohibition, a nationwide constitutional ban on alcohol from 1920 to 1933, is a pivotal chapter in American history, a period marked by speakeasies, gangsters, and a significant shift in American culture and politics. But what if this chapter had never been written? What if Prohibition had never been enacted? Without Prohibition, the 1920s might still have roared, but perhaps with a different tune. The immediate impact would have been on the economy. The brewing, distilling, and viniculture industries, significant sources of employment and tax revenue, would not have faced decimation in the 1920s. These industries had deep roots in American society, representing not just a vice, but a vibrant part of the American economy and cultural identity. Without Prohibition, thousands of jobs from farm to bottle would have remained, and countless families would not have faced economic despair. Moreover, the federal and state governments would not have lost crucial tax revenues from alcohol sales, which might have provided more financial stability and potentially lessened the severity of the Great Depression. Before Prohibition, tax revenues from alcohol represented a substantial portion of the federal government's income. The sudden loss of this revenue meant the government had to find alternative sources, contributing to financial instability. From a societal standpoint, the fabric of American society might have remained more intact. The ban on alcohol did not eliminate drinking. Rather, it pushed it into the shadows, giving rise to speakeasies and illegal homebrews. This underground culture nurtured a profound disrespect for the law, fostering a sense of rebellion against governmental authority. By never enacting Prohibition, America might have been spared this widespread lawlessness and the consequent erosion of social norms. The impact on crime rates would have been particularly significant. Prohibition gave birth to an era of unprecedented organized crime as gangsters and mobs took control of the illegal alcohol market. Figures like Al Capone became legends, their power built on the lucrative trade of bootlegging. Without Prohibition, the fuel that fed the rapid expansion of organized crime would have been markedly diminished. The violent turf wars and corruption that characterized the era could have been avoided, sparing countless lives and preventing the entrenchment of organized crime within American society. Furthermore, without Prohibition, the progress of American civil liberties may have taken a different path. The enforcement of Prohibition required unprecedented levels of surveillance and policing, infringing on personal liberties and privacy. This era of surveillance and punishment planted seeds for future governmental overreach, setting concerning precedents for the balance between individual rights and government authority. On a more personal level, countless Americans suffered under Prohibition. Beyond the economic hardship, the social fabric was torn by the moral crusade against alcohol. Families were divided, and many individuals faced criminal charges for what was previously illegal activity, tarnishing reputations and ruining lives. The health risks associated with consuming unregulated, often dangerous, homemade or smuggled alcohol cannot be overstated. Without Prohibition, these personal tragedies would have been significantly reduced, and the American people might have maintained a more trusting relationship with their government. In conclusion, had Prohibition never been enacted, the United States would likely have navigated a vastly different historical path. From economic prosperity to societal norms, from the rise of organized crime to the evolution of civil liberties, the impacts of this noble experiment were profound and far-reaching. While it's impossible to change the past, envisioning a United States without Prohibition helps us appreciate the complex relationship between legislative actions, societal reactions, and historical outcomes. As we reflect on this alternate reality, we are reminded of the enduring truth that the decisions of today shape the world of tomorrow.